Retro cars have proved extremely popular over recent years. A lot of that is down to Volkswagen and its 21st century take on the Beetle. This is the special edition Dune model, which gets a more rugged look, a higher ride height and larger wheels. Think of it as Herbie, who's overdone it at the gym, and you'll get the idea. And like the standard model, it's available as a coupe or this convertible version. On the outside you get a modern take of the iconic Beetle, with features carried over like the rounded roofline, circular headlamps and bulging wheel arches. Underneath though, the Beetle is based on the Volkswagen Golf. Inside, that old school feel has been carried over too. I mean, just have a look at this glove box. It looks like it's been taken straight from the original. Initially, the build quality looks pretty impressive, as you'd expect from Volkswagen, but it's only when you get closer that you realise the dash is laid out with cheap hard plastics. The seats are comfortable and supportive, and the steering wheel is adjustable for both reach and height. A 5-inch colour touchscreen is standard across the range, and while it is relatively straightforward to use, we'd be more inclined to go for the optional 6.5-inch screen, which is standard on design models and above. The larger screen is easier to navigate and the information easier to read. While the system is usable, it is starting to show its age. Visibility isn't the Beetle's strong suit because of these thick windscreen A-pillars, and in the convertible the rear window is quite small. But when the weather's nice, there's a very simple solution to that. While the Beetle is based on the Golf, it's not as practical. There's a lot of head and legroom in the front, but in the back legroom is limited. The boot is also smaller because of the sloping rear end, plus the loading area is an unusual shape. The rear seats do fold down though to help improve load lugging. As you'd expect for a car from the Volkswagen Group, there's a good spread of petrol and diesel engines, and unlike the original, the engine can be found up front rather than in the back. Petrol wise, there's a 1.2 litre turbo, which is frugal and peppy around town, but if you want something that's a bit more driver focused, then we'd take a look at the 2 litre turbo. The low speed ride is pretty firm and the steering is heavy, which loses some of the charm and fun aspect. The 2 litre turbo does get a rear suspension from the Golf GTI, but it's nowhere near in the same league in terms of ride and handling. Elsewhere in the lineup, there's a 148 brake horsepower 1.4 litre petrol or a 2 litre diesel with the same power output, but for many the entry-level 1.2 litre turbo will be more than enough. All models come with a manual transmission which works well, or there's a 6 or 7 speed dual clutch automatic, which is smooth but an expensive option. Overall, the Beetle is a car to be seen in rather than a car that you feel has got a truly engaging drive. The low speed ride is poor, it's expensive, and the interior isn't up there with more modern retro classics. While the engines are strong, it's well worth looking at the Mini or the Fiat 500 before you make your decision.